EB1 may not be a game about being extraordinary. It is first a game of being unique. This is what I mean. Now, when you look at EB1, it says that you have to show the US government that you have done such good work for the past 9,000 million years to show that you have risen to the top of the field, that you're one of the very few. So the first thing that your mind goes to is, I have to be the top of the top. Like, mujhe ekdam like awwal number I have to become. But having lived this experience myself, having talked to enough lawyers, having talked to enough EB1 aspirants, one thing is clear that people who have done it the right way, one which has gotten them a green card as well as resulted in radical personal and professional development like no other, is this, that they have focused on being unique before they became focused on being extraordinary. Okay. Now, how do you become unique? Now, if I have to ask you to pause and really think that what makes you unique? What is that one thing that you have that nobody else, not even your exact copy twin has? This is uniquely you. What is that element? What is that unit? It's your DNA. Your DNA is you. Nobody else has a DNA that is similar to yours. The billions of people who are on this earth, nobody has a DNA that is similar to yours. What is that EB1 DNA for you? There are two things. Just like I've thought this through. Look at the brain. Okay, I want you to acknowledge and appreciate this analogy that I have found out, which has happened as a shower thought, but I have distilled it to make it into a, a coherent argument. So I'm going to spill it on you. There are two strands on a DNA diagram. So, what are those two strands in your EB1 DNA profile? Number one is your work, and number two is your network. Nobody has the same work profile and knows the same people like you. That is what you need to delve deep into to first find the uniqueness in your profile. I'll give you my example. So my work was, I was a bachelor's and master's in computer science. Then I switched over to communication studies. Bhoot chada tha man mein. And in communication studies, I studied computer mediated communication. Computer mediated communication is how is communication manifesting in a world where it is mediated by technology. Now, the technology can change. That technology can be uh, Tinder, that technology can be Facebook, technology can be an AI bot, but whatever it is, I wanted to study how technology affects communication because that's how I could legitimize the crossover from computer science to communication. And it worked in my benefit because that big idea resulted in a niche idea where over the years I focused on studying about online dating. That became my niche where I studied, okay, how is online dating changing the way people are building relationships? Now, as I was doing research in online dating, I also started understanding that, oh yeah, online dating, there's this term that comes up a lot. It's called hookups. Like, what is hookup? Then I became nerdy about hookups. So after that, the very end of my career, because I stopped doing research in 2022, at the very end, the 2020 to 2022 years, I got very, very interested in how does online dating affect hookups? How do these things play out together? And that research thread led to a book. Now, why am I telling you this? This is where my work and my network came together beautifully. So when I was doing this research study, I was reading researchers like Caroline Heldman. She was one researcher whose work that I read. So when it came for me to find out endorsements from my book, I reached out to Caroline and I told Caroline, hey, Dr. Heldman, your research on XYZ was foundational in my book. I would really appreciate it if you could read my book and provide your commentary. And she did. She acknowledged my appreciation for her work. She read my book. Here's where it came together beautifully. Turns out that Dr. Caroline Heldman is associated with something called misrepresentation. It is a it is a initiative that highlights marginalized voices. They talk about LGBTQIA communities, female issues, etc. Everything right up my alley. So that research led to this book, which led to me reaching out to Dr. Caroline Heldman from my network, who then gave me an opportunity to be on the podcast of Misrepresentation, which has an amazing digital footprint. Again, I did not use that for my EB1 because by this time my EB1 was done. But in retrospect, how could I have used this for my EB1? Number one, her endorsement could have been an instance of showing off major significance in the field of my original contribution. That could have been one way that I could have leveraged it. The second way I could have leveraged this relationship of mine with her was by showing that the podcast invite as a comparable evidence for exhibits, or sandwich it into of major significance, or use it as an appended evidence for the impact of my authorship. But that could have been leveraged. But this is what I mean when I say that when you go deep into your DNA, that is your work and your network, who you're connected with and the work that you do, beautiful things come out. Things that set you apart from everybody else. Let others do the same thing. I'll tell you what they do. They will go to IEEE. They'll go to all these conferences. New kid on the block is Springer Nature. They will write a chapter on Springer Nature. They will write a chapter on IGI Global. They will go and judge Globee Awards. They will go and judge Stevie. They will go to a hackathon. Everybody is going to MIT hackathon. Yeah, I'm not saying that these are bad, but it's so flavorless. It's so flavorless. It seems like you're trying to fit in. And when you fit in, you become invisible. EB1 is about standing out. It's about showing how unique you are, the unique dent that you have made in the field. So focus on that. Don't focus on these generic must-do activities to show to USCIS or your lawyer that you are extraordinary. Extraordinary is not a formula. Extraordinary comes from being unique. You need to stand out from the crowd. Think about Tetris, that game. When you fit in, you just become invisible. You become that line, you disappear. But when you stand out, people notice. So the next time when you're looking at those EB1 criteria and you're thinking about how do I check these off, look at your DNA. Your work and your network is going to take you farther than any of these secret success formulas that these EB1 hustle bros peddle. I hope you remember that and I hope you use it. I hope this helps.